Hello, my dear students of Standard 7. Welcome you all in DAV Mall Public School, Sitasongi. I am Nitin Pushpadode, Social Science teacher. Students, let's begin an online session of Social Science. Today's topic is Medieval Period. Students, under this topic, today's subtopic is Periods in India. That means we will learn about the periods in India. Students, periods means what? Just a passage of time. It refers to the era of events. That means it refers to history. Then, student, first of all, we focus on history. What do you mean by the history? Listen, students, history means what? Just a study the past event. That means a systematic description of the past events, that is called the history. Okay, students, the history of India begins with the birth of Indus Valley civilization around the 3000 years BC. Okay, historians and archaeologists believe that the Indus Valley civilization, that means just we can say that Indus Valley civilization, that was the indication of the beginning of history time, the passage of time in a Indian subcontinent. Okay, students, in the this history period is divided into a different manner in a world as well as in India. Then first of all, in India, the period of Indian history is divided into the three types. First, the ancient; the second, the medieval; and the third, the modern period. Then first of all, students, the ancient period. Students, this period, that means the ancient period, just start in India in between the prehistoric period to the end of 7th century. Students, before that I am telling one thing. Students, according to the Indian historians, history is divided into the two parts: prehistory part and the historical parts. Prehistory means prehistory period refers to that period when the art of writing was unknown. That means in the particular period there was no writing skill developed. That is called the prehistory. And second, history. This period, that means in that period there was writing skill developed. So this is called the history. Then after all, students, again historian divided the history into the three categories, that means the ancient, medieval and modern. So first of all, ancient period. This ancient period, students, started in between the prehistoric period to the end of 7th century. That means ancient period of India just started from the prehistoric period to the end of 7th century. Then students, second type, second, that is the medieval period of India. In a Indian subcontinent, medieval period of India just starts from the 18th century to end at 18th century. That means the period in between the 8th century to the 18th century, this period is called the medieval period in India, not in the world. Okay, students, so history, it based on the facts and not on the imagination. That means it help us to learn about the great people, culture, art and the architecture of the earlier times. So in such a way that history motivates us to make the present world a better place to live in. So in such a way that, students, history, that means the past, played an important role in our life. Okay, students, so in the Indian continents, that means first of all in the world, so that means in the world, Europe is the most important continent. So in a European history, the period from the 5th century to the 15th century CE is known as the medieval period. Listen, students, which is the medieval period in Europe continents? The period from 5th to 15th century. See, this is the period of medieval period of Europe continents. So the period from the 5th to the 15th century C is known as the medieval period in a Europe continent, not in India. So in India, which is the medieval period? Listen, students, in India, the period from 8th century to the 18th century. So this marks the beginning and end of the medieval period. That means medieval period was beginning in the India in a 8th century and it ended in a 18th century. So in such a way that the period from the 8th century to the 18th century, this is the medieval period in India. Student, listen, during this period the several important changes took place in the social, economic and political structure of Europe as well as in Asia, ultimately in India. Again, students, in an ancient period, medieval period, in a modern period, Indian culture had remained aloof from the outside world. That means just we learned many things during that period. Again, students, during the medieval period in India, culture was highly influenced by the many changes that took place in other countries. So in other countries activities, just we influenced in that time. Students, these influences are evident in the culture, administration, economy, languages, and religious beliefs of the people even today. In such a way that students, so these are the periods, these are the medieval periods in Europe as well as in India. So during that period, the many events, many influences just held there, and definitely with the with that influence just we affected. Students, in such a way that today we will learn about the general information about the history, ancient history, medieval history, okay, and again students about the periods of medieval periods of Europe continents as well as India. So students, on the basis of today's content, some assignment questions I am giving. Two questions are in front of you, so you have to write the answers of these questions. Okay students, remaining part of this lesson we will learn in our next online session. Thank you very much.